Hello, everyone, and welcome back. My name is Day, and I will be drawing for you guys. Well, time lapse drawing. Um, as some of you may know, I just recently finished playing Resident Evil 4 Remake, and I want to do a creature design based on some of the creatures that I found very terrifying. Um, I also used some of the, like, one creature from Resident Evil 5 as well. Um, but we'll get into that. So the first creature I used was going to be the Colmillos, which is, I believe, Spanish for Fang, and that is from Resident Evil 4. And the second one, which is also from Resident Evil 4, is the Regenerator. The third creature, which is the one from Resident Evil 5, is the Ajul. Ajul. I don't know how to say it. Hopefully, I'm saying it correctly. If I'm saying these wrong, also, please let me know in the comments as well. But so the reason why I chose these three, like I said before, was because they scared the living daylights out of me. Um, Not only because they're just running at me and they seemed OP, but also because the design was actually pretty scary, as well as like their functionality as well. Um, their backstory was kind of interesting once I started reading about it. But so to start out with, the Colmillos, I think I'm saying that right, is the wolf infected, um, that was infected by the Los Illuminados, and they used the Plaga for that one, type 1 Plaga. Um, the reason why I'm saying type 1 is because for the usual, they use the type 2 for that. But for the Los Colmillos, they used the type 1 plug in it, and they used a wolf because they wanted to have a pack base. Um, I guess it was going to be like a bio weapon. At least that's what I got out of it. Um, and then the regenerator, which is like my favorite feature design, which in its backstory, I actually like the backstory for that one as well. It was created by a scientist because he really was feeling himself or themselves, and they pretty much wanted to make the ultimate life form. Um, and they used multiple plagas. They infected a human with that, with multiple plagas in order to get the regenerator. Um, which resulted in so many of them being made, which I'm still kind of shocked by how this individual was able to make so many and get away with it, especially when there was a witness saying, like, pretty much giving off signs like, hey, this seemed like a bad idea. But I guess they got the thumbs up from the cult to pretty much make more. I don't know. I don't understand. Why were there so many? I'm having flashbacks. I don't like um but yeah, I don't see how they were able to get away with making so many, and then they were able to mutate into an Iron Maiden, which brought so many more questions, and it just leads down into a rabbit hole in my mind, just like, why? Who signed this off? Who thought this was a great idea? Why were there were casualties and y'all still decided to make more? What's going on? But that's science, I guess. Um So, and I think from what I can tell, it takes place in Spain. That's what like some of the like the articles I read, they're like it takes place in a rural part of Spain. I'm just like, okay, cool. Um, but the Ajul, which is in Resident Evil 5, as some of you may know, takes place in some part of Africa, apparently. I don't know if it's using the fictional universe, like the yeah, like the made up world, or if it's like going off of like real locations. I don't know. But some of it's saying North Africa, so I'm guessing that's like saying that it takes place in an area. I don't know. Moving on. But the Ojol is pretty much an infected hunting dog or wild dog that they use type 2 plaga on. And they use that for pretty much the same reason, bio warfare, but also it was supposed to be a little bit more agile in close quarters. So whenever it uh, went into combat with individuals, it was able to be a little bit more agile and react a lot better. Um, but apparently they discontinued that because it was not as intelligent as the human infected version of it. So they pretty much scrapped it. Um, and this pretty much lead into the creature design that I have here. As you can see, it has like the influence of the regenerator as well as the Comios. And I wanted to keep the teeth part of it because I actually thought that was pretty interesting. I actually like um the teeth feel to it. Like it's I don't know. Like the abnormally large teeth. Like there's something scary about teeth, like razor sharp teeth. I guess it's like the feeling of like getting bitten or the idea of getting bitten. Um, and then I wanted to give it long nails, like overgrown nails, because with the regenerator, I noticed that from the hands to the feet, it had overgrown nails, like the nails still were continuing to grow. Um, and understandably, because I don't know who would want to go up to a regenerator and be like, hey, you know, let me clip your nails. So I just like kept it. I try to give it like a curve, like curving to the side kind of feel to it because with dogs, like their nails, whenever they overgrow, like you would think that they would kind of start shaping sideways. Um, which kind of lead me into the movement as well. So if it was like the movement for it, I feel it would have like kind of like a noodly loose joint kind of movement as well because that's one thing I noticed with the regenerator was it kind of had like a um how do I describe it? Like a creepy clown kind of feel to it. I guess that's like the best way I can explain it is like the creepy clown Joker characters that you usually see in horror films or animes where like they have like this loose kind of uh nonchalant kind of feel to it. So I wanted to kind of like keep that in mind whenever I was designing this. Um, and also, I read that because of the overgrown nails with some animals, like it can affect their movement and make it to where like it causes joint issues and stuff. So I include that into the design as well, like while thinking about it. Um, and then I looked at the skin of the regenerator and I also thought of the Sphinx, like hairless cats. I kind of wanted to like add the folds within the joint, so I kind of like looked at that to kind of give off that kind of loose skin kind of feel because I like that. I noticed it mainly like around the wrists and the ankles, the neck on the regenerator. But I still wanted to keep the canine look that the Comios and the Ajol had as well. And I wanted to have that agile feel too because both of those dogs were pretty much quick. But I also like the kind of concept of the noodly feel to it. So the agileness, the loose feel that the regenerator had when in its movements, I kept in mind. Um, that way, with this creature, I kind of had the idea like it was an experiment that kind of got out and they wanted to use it for bio warfare and but it was going to be a nocturnal based creature as well because with the colmillos, it was the plagas are light sensitive. They're not used to the light. They will burn up and dissolve under sunlight. Um, I don't remember if the Ajul, I think the Ajul was used to sunlight from what I remember. I think there was like some genetic modification. I can't remember. But I wanted to keep the night kind of feel to it. I couldn't call it a stalker though because in Resident Evil Outbreak, Max the lion was named Stalker whenever the zoo got infected. So I'm just gonna go with Wanderer because it's just wandering around the lab, like the abandoned lab. Um, but I wanted to have like kind of like a um aliens feel to it as well to kind of allow it to be able to go in and out of vents because that's one thing I thought about a lot with a lot of the monsters was the vents because going through some of the areas like the regenerator never was in like an open area, it was always in the lab or like in a cave or um I guess the sewers, and it would just fall out of certain areas. It wasn't like really in the daylight just really walking around. It would just pop out of nowhere. It would be very sneaky. So I also want to keep that as well. And I believe wild dogs are nocturnal. I think they are. So I wanted to keep that kind of feel to it. Um Another thing I kept in mind with the skull and the face part of the creature was the regenerator portion of it as well as like the dogs too because whereas the colmillos it had like the separation of the upper part of the face um and then the gums extending to the teeth going towards the teeth. I also kind of want to keep the combination of the regenerator and then with the eyes, the regenerator kind of had like some creepy like soulless eyes, which makes sense since it was like a reanimated um corpse pretty much. I wanted to include that. Even with the jewel, I looked at it and I was just like, okay, and the lore was talking about how they since they weren't as smart, but they were more aggressive, so I kind of want to keep the like blind with rage kind of feel to it as well, but also keep it to where they like kind of like had like a soulless kind of feel like the regenerator as well. Um, and with the nose too, I noticed with the regenerator, like the nose was kind of like decaying a bit. Um, so I tried to do that with the nose that it'll probably pop up a little bit. Um, but I wanted to keep that. But altogether, I wanted a creature that kind of looked like it would be quick, but have a lot of teeth and also very agile, but like noodly. I don't know how to describe it. Like loose skin, um, kind of texture to it. I don't know. That's why I tried to do with this. Um, Also I kept the feet. I wanted to add fur to it, but I decided not to because since it was gonna be like going through the stage, I still kind of wanted to keep the stages like of the flow of the between the a jewel to the regenerator. Like since the jewel was kind of a failed thing and the Comios was kind of a failed thing, I was thinking maybe the scientists were like, we're gonna use a regenerator since that did pretty well. So like combine all those three to kind of keep this creature that was like more of a albino hairless creature that um was light sensitive. Um so that's pretty much where I got this whole idea from. But I think, did I talk about the feet? I think with the feet. So, if I said it again, it's so much. But with the feet, um, because I don't know how to describe it, but with the feet, I wanted to have like kind of like a sneaky kind of feel to it as well. Um, that why that's why I didn't really add fur. It was kind of like covered to where it was like kind of give it like a salamander feel. I don't know. Um, but seeing how like it's different organizations and they add their little bit to it, like with the Comios being based with the Los Illuminados cult organization and the Jewel being the Tricell organization, I was thinking maybe there was like another organization that they were able to get like the Plagas um genetics cells, because like as Resident Evil goes on they start adding like more animal based genetics to it. Maybe it had like more of an amphibian kind of gene, or maybe a bird like to kind of help with the night vision. So I was thinking maybe with the sound it would probably have like what is it called? Uh Cassowary. I think that's what it is. Like a cassowary kind of sound to it. Or maybe even like more of a growl to it. Like kind of like a combination of a hoot and a growl. But I actually like the low tone of a cassowary. So I was thinking that because with the regenerator, it still had like a bit of a hissing sound since it doesn't have really like a closed mouth. It has more of an open mouth. So that's what I was thinking as far as the sound and the behaviors. But let me know what you think in the comments. If you liked my video, let me know by hitting the like button. Um, and if you would like to see more, also comment. And if you want to just be updated as far as when I post more of these videos, subscribe. And I guess that's it. If you want to follow me on Instagram or Twitter, I'll put the link in the description as well. But thank you for watching and have a good day. Take care of yourself. Be respectful of yourself and others. And have a good morning, afternoon, evening, good night. And I hope you enjoy the rest of this video because I still have some more to add for the drawing. But yeah, let me know what you think.